Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. And this is a game between Crank and Barcode on Dusk Towers. In the top side of the map we have the red Zerg player, it is Barcode. And in the bottom side of the map we have the blue Protoss player, it is Crank, representing Ducky in reference to his mascot, a stuffed duck that he has in every single broadcast on Twitch and YouTube. And speaking of his YouTube channel, there's a link right up here. And one of my subscribers said, hey, thanks to you, I subscribed to Crank. It's like Fun Day Monday every single day over there. If that doesn't get you to subscribe, I don't know what will. Once again, subscribe to Crank. Alright, so Crank, if you haven't seen it before, is a former professional player. And he goes random on the GM Korean ladder, which makes him a hero of mine, because going random on any stage of ladder is very, very difficult, but he makes it look easy somehow. I think he mained Protoss when he played in tournaments, but he's very, very good with Zerg, very good with Terran, very fun, with some interesting strategies, actually, from all three of those races. So we'll see what he does here today, if it's more standard, or if he does go for something weird like Mass Archon against this Zerg player, which might actually work if it's Crank, because he has some ways of making some crazy stuff happen. Alright, so check in here for a quick Nexus. Indeed it is. Was that a Nexus first out of Crank? I think it was. Nexus first into Gateway. Yes, there's a pylon there just so we can keep getting workers, and a simulator comes up too. There's that 3-hatch. Alright, so Barcode knows what he's doing. He is no slouch at this game. Going 3-hatch before Extractor before Pool. Recognizing that Crank is going to have a lot of workers out very soon. He needs to keep up with that by getting this many workers. Either you go 1 base, you just kind of try to straight up kill the Protoss player, or you go 3 base and try to out-macro them at their own game. Honestly, I prefer to go this rate, or go to this style with the 3 hatches and then go into the Extractor spawning pool just to get those workers out. I feel very comfortable off of 3 bases, and again, there's not much that Crank can do to stop this. He does have double Gateway, which is a little interesting, and double Assimilator here, and there goes the Cybernetics core. Cybernetics core. So, I think he's going to open Adept here in this PvZ, which should be very interesting indeed. We'll see how Barcode can handle this. Again, I believe it was a Huck versus Stefano game, where Huck went mass Adept against Stefano and just killed like 89 drones, and there was not a whole lot that Stefano did here. Again, some people criticize Stefano for kind of trying to stick on old Heart of the Swarm strategies, making a lot of roaches instead of going for other strategies. But in the end, Mass Adept proved to be very, very good, even at the professional level, against these units that are these professionals who are Zerg. So yeah, double Adept here. Nope, rather Stalker. Ah, Crank throwing me off here. 1 Adept, 1 Stalker. They're actually here for base defense as well, so I'm not sure that Crank is aware of what's happening. Nope, he doesn't know what's happening. He has no idea what's going on with Barcode. It could definitely be a 1-base play, in which case he'd be fairly safe with this. He has the wall, he has some units to defend, but unfortunately for him, there's nothing coming up here. We're just basically pumping drones on the other side of the map, and as I say that, I'm a liar. There are 12 lings in production for Barcode. 12. I don't know what that is. He is down 33 to 28 harvesters. He could have taken the lead in that worker count with it, but I guess he's got metabolic boost on the way. He's not getting through this wall with lings. He's just not. There's no way. So many more Adepts are getting warped on in. Adepts do 2-shot those lings very quickly. There is a Mothership core on the way. Yes, there is. That will be able to photon overcharge these 2 pylons. There's no way you're breaking this with lings. I mean, even if you had 50 lings, I don't think there's any way you could break it against a player of Crank's caliber. So give it a shot, Barcode. Let me know how this is going to work out for you, but I don't feel great about your chances. We'll just say that. Queen's on the way now, droning up. Here's Barcode, and income tab does show 38 to 35, still in the lead. There's Crank. Like I said, these lings doing okay. And actually, are they going to get in? No! Adept, second Adept holds the line, and here comes the Mothership core. Like I said, the lings did not get through. A lot of them died in the process. 125 minerals lost there for Crank, or 125 resources, 131 for Barcode. So yeah, I mean, the lings, they basically might be able to delay a 3rd base here, but otherwise, they didn't do anything whatsoever. They saw 2 gateways, didn't get any scouting information at all. I really feel like Barcode would have been better off just droning up at that point, taking a huge drone lead, sitting on his 3 bases, and then macroing up an army to defend against Crank or try to snipe down his 3rd base when he attempts to take it. But as it stands, Barcode does play on the GM Korean ladder, so I don't know if I should make too critical comments against him. There goes the lair. APM for these players on average is 300 versus 498. Ducky, Crank on the low end there compared to this 500 APM that Barcode is rocking throughout this game. Absolutely flying Over the keyboard are his fingers. Creep spread looking A-OK for Barcode 2, getting that sucker started. Overlord placement is actually beautiful. Look at this. 1, 2, has a Ling there, has another Ling there. Overlord, Overlord, Ling, Overlord. Couple Lings. I mean, there's no way that Crank is getting a Warp Prism out there. There's no way he's getting Phoenix out here, sneaking a Void Ray or an Oracle out without this being spotted by Barcode. Great spread. I'd actually need to implement this into my game style as well. Adepts heading on up. Where are they going? To the Zerg base. Thank you very much. In production here for Barcode are some Lings. I love that strategy. I think Speedlings are very good against Adepts. So some Ling Roach with some Queens mixed in here too. I think a Ling tried to sneak up here, but that Stalker was holding the line fairly well. And a lot of Roaches. Lot of Roaches here with the Queen support with 10 Lings in production. Speedlings no less. I mean, sure, the Adepts might be able to try to Sonic transfer their way on up here, but the Lings are going to find them. And the Lings are going to try to hit them pretty darn hard. Here come the Lings popping right on out, surrounding one Adept immediately and sniping it down. More are going to die. I'm not sure if there are enough, actually, to deal with this thing. The Roaches trying to chase them on up here, trying to kill the Queen. Good drone pull. Great drone pull there by Barcode. And Psionic transfer, boop, popping on out. Not committing to anything is Crank, just trying to kill some stuff. Checking for a quick fourth base that Barcode may have taken and does not see one. And I think it's time for the Adepts to go home. So, nice hold there by Barcode. Didn't lose much. Did lose maybe a drone in that attack, but that was about it. Adepts were killed on the other end of the spectrum, but the third base is now up for Crank. So, I mean, that was good. I mean, attacking and expanding behind it, always something you want to do, and something that Crank is very excellent at doing at as well. Again, his standard play is just very, very good. So here come the Lings with the surround on the Adepts. Roach is trying to finish him off there and taking down one Adept very quickly, but good micro sneaking on out of there was Crank, and more Adepts in production. Phoenix now starting up for Crank. Phoenix play against Zerg, super duper good as well. Fourth base now on the way here for Barcode, which is kind of worrisome because you can be harassed up here by Stalkers even. Can hit this mineral line very easily from the high ground. Adept count looking a little intimidating, actually. There are 12 Adepts on the ground versus 9 Roaches and 9 Zerglings. Hydras in production, though. Pretty darn good here. 67 to 67 workers. Although somebody actually did a test in the unit tester with equal supply Hydras and Adepts, and the Adepts absolutely murdered the Hydras because they do extra damage to light, and Hydras are light, and you'd think the Hydra DPS would be enough to compensate, but apparently not. So you definitely want some Roaches to tank up here, then get your Hydras to actually do the heavy hitting if you're going to be a Zerg player. Keep that one in mind. Picking up that Queen, taking it down, trying to take down this Overlord. Hydra sniping down, almost getting almost two. Phoenix getting one, though. A little bit careless there from Crank, but I don't think it will matter too much in the long run. Templar Archives on the way. Robotics Facility on the way for Crank. Just really doing everything he wants at this point. The Adepts might end up dead, as this is a lot of Roach Hydra. Any Adept's going to survive this one. Stutter stepping forward here is Barcode, and one Adept. No! It does survive. Look at that. 15 hit points left. 3 kills on it. Might as well start trying to kill some drones there. Nope. Gets evaporated. Absolutely taken out. Overlord, Overseer, rather, trying to scout things out. And is that a giant Phoenix ball? 5 Phoenixes. All right. So they're the same Phoenix that were up here earlier. Pushing up with a Roach Hydra composition. I like this. I like this from Barcode. Looking very good. Very good with his army composition. Lurker Den on the way for Barcode as well. Templars getting morphed on in. Possibly just to be Archons. Possibly for Storm. Nope, Archon morphing in. All right, so definitely going to be Archons here. Here comes the Roach Hydra. Going to try to do something. There's a lot of Zealots on the ground. I'm not sure if that's a good choice or not. Zealots don't do very well at all against Roach Hydra. Double Photon Overcharge coming up here and just trying to dance inside and out of it. Guardian Shield popping on up and just going for it now. Force Field's trapping him on in there. No Ravagers to take those down. And actually, all the Zealots get immediately massacred. Phoenix getting shot down as well. A lot of dead Zerg blood in there, though. And just bypassing, casually taking out the Changelings that Barcode tried to leave there was Crank. 161 to 113. Total supply. Creep spread continuing for Barcode. This fourth base helping immensely. Look how much gas is coming out of those extractors. Like I said, Lurker Den on the way. Not really going for Ravagers. Saving up that gas instead for them Lurkers. Double Spore Crawler here, taking one of the Phoenix down to very, very low health. That double Spore Crawler strategy is actually one that I can recommend as Zerg too. Getting that many Spore Crawlers up. I know it costs workers, but man, it really shuts down these Phoenix fairly effectively. On the way here is Storm, so Crank decides he does want some Storm available after all, plus 2 ground weapons going to finish momentarily. And 5 Lurkers in production for Barcode. 150 to 192 total supply. Really doing super well here is Barcode. I wish I knew who this was, because it very well could be a professional player, but so many of them play on Barcode accounts when they're laddering just so nobody can stream snipe them or figure out their strategies when they're practicing. It's really impossible to know who this is. Phoenix being effective, though, flying around, killing overlords, actually supply blocking Barcode there, which is really annoying for the Zerg player. Free Queen! Free Queen pushing on up and forcing a cancel on the 4th base here. These guys do have +2 missile attacks versus the +2 attack of CranK. Nobody has armor upgrades. Going for it, though. The Hydra is trying to snap down everything that they can. Again, the Zealots doing some damage, but melting fairly quickly. The Lurkers are in, too, now. Lurkers at the front door is never a good look. Storm on the Hydras. Pushing right on in are the Archons, are the Immortals, trying to kill these Lurkers. Lurker Spines are still tearing through everything, though. Trying to take down Immortals, doing extra damage versus Immortals as the Immortals do extra damage to them. And Lurker count is at 3 right here. Should probably push up, actually, but morphing in more Lurkers here. The Mothership Core taking out the Changelings. Oh no, can they get the Mothership Core? Hydras trying to snipe it down. They get the Mothership Core. Nice play. Nice play by Barcode right there. Taking another base behind this pressure. Just trying to move up with Lurkers and kind of put a bit of a contain there as well. The Zealots getting absolutely massacred, coming from all sides. The Immortals trying to crush on and get rid of these Lurkers. Archon up to 8 kills, and yes, lifting Lurkers here too, so they can't attack at all. The Phoenix integral in that play as CranK breaks that almost a little too easily. Just beautiful. Coming in from all angles, not allowing the Lurkers to just attack into a straight line, forcing them to spread those spines out and therefore spread out the damage. Archon with 10 kills. Immortals count looking very good as well. 3, 4, 2 kills, 4 kills, 9 kills on that Immortal. +3 is about to finish up here for CranK. Going to be super useful. Retaking his 4th base here. Here comes more Lurkers, more Roaches, more Hydras from Barcode. More Hydras in production, more Zerglings in production, +1 ground Carapace coming up here too. Pushing on in with everything. Storm on all of these units though, especially the Hydras and the Lings. Very susceptible to that one. Trying to kill these Archons with Lings. Getting 1 on the right side, 2 on the left. Getting sniped down as well here. Lurker Spines on top of everything. Can the Immortals hang on? This is just a lot of units. This is a lot of stuff from Barcode. 168 to 116 total supply. Once again, going to deny this 4th base. CranK just basically acquiescing, saying, please, can you take this one? Replacement Mothership Core does photon overcharge a pylon. It gets taken down immediately as well. More Zealots in production here for CranK. I don't know that Zealots are going to be your saving grace right here. I really don't. Just stuck on 3 base while your opponent is essentially on 5 with so much gas coming in. Okay, technically there are extractors, not actually any workers on them, but I think we're okay. Not going to worry about that too much. Lurker Den there, and 36 Lings in production. I'm not sure that Lings are what you want when there are this many Zealots with +3 attack. And this much Storm, and these Archons with +3 attack, 47 damage versus Biological. They one-shot Lings, and it's splash damage, so they take a lot of their fellow Lings with them. Maxed out Barcode coming in for yet another swing. If he can deny this 4th base again, I think the game might be his. Pushing in for what might be an attempt at a coup de grace here by CranK. A nice Storm on top of everything. Lurkers spining on in. Lurker spread looking scary. Coming right on in, though, is CranK. Lings coming from the light side, getting Storm, trying to snipe down Archons, actually, very bravely. Roaches on the right side and Hydras coming in. Everybody's gone, and that's it. A GG from CranK. CranK is defeated, Barcode's victorious, and CranK has left the game. Yeah, I just think Barcode had too much. He had too much. He had 5 Lurkers remaining, 17 Roaches, 7 Hydras with the upgrades that were okay. Let's take a look at this real quick. +2, +1 there, so fine. Not like the +3 that we had for CranK, but still doable there. The Lings swinging on down here, taking out Archons, Roaches, and Hydras, getting rid of all of the Zealots, which allowed them to come up and pressure the Immortals. A lot of dead Immortals in that game too. Units lost almost identical for resources lost. 19,000 each. 19,025 versus 19,055. That's actually kind of insane. But yeah, in the end, it was 65 to 77 Harvesters. Barcode had that worker count ready to go on these 5 bases. CranK wasn't able to get his 4th base up. He had a good composition. I like the Immortals. I like the Archons. The Zealots, maybe not the greatest choice, but I don't know what else you do there. Maybe Adepts. They're a little bit more tanky, I suppose, but I don't know. In the end, Barcode played a very, very good game there. CranK didn't really harass enough. I don't think the Phoenix didn't do enough damage. Spore Crawlers, again, placed in good positions to prevent that. So that's it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.